Have you ever wondered what it would be like to live with a peace that nothing in this world could shake? What if I told you that peace, strength, and true freedom could be closer than you think? In this video, I'm going to share 5 powerful teachings that transform lives, wisdom that heals the heart and calms the mind. By immersing yourself in this journey with me, you'll discover a path that can completely change the way you live, love, and even how you face daily difficulties. These teachings are not just words. They are a call for you to awaken to the life you were born to live. So, are you ready to discover a power that already dwells within you? When you look at your life, you may have the feeling that you need to hold the reins of everything. Perhaps you spend your days trying to anticipate every detail, planning every step, and yet you feel that weight, an anguish that never completely goes away. Many of us have been taught that in order to live well, we need to control everything around us. But when I tried to teach about the kingdom of God, what I wanted to show was that peace doesn't come from control, but from trust. There is a deep wisdom in knowing that when we put our faith in love and divine wisdom, we find the peace that the incessant search for control never brought. I imagine you've heard that God knows our needs before we even speak of them. That's one of the secrets of trust. Of course, life brings moments of uncertainty, challenges that make us doubt. I know this, because on my journey I have also faced fear and doubt. But what I discovered, and what I want to help you see, is that by letting go of control, you make room for true peace and for God's presence to manifest. Trust is choosing to surrender your worries, and it's not giving up. It's recognizing that you're not alone, and that there is a greater care behind every situation. Think of something in your life that you're trying to resolve on your own. It could be a complicated relationship, a deep fear, or a difficult decision. Now imagine if, instead of carrying that weight, you handed it over. If you said to yourself, "I trust that the way will open up at the right time." The simple act of trusting, of allowing God to take care of your life, brings immediate relief. Because, contrary to what we imagine, when we trust and let go, we don't lose control, we gain freedom. This freedom allows us to realize that not everything depends on us. Of course, we have responsibilities, but there are times when we need to make room for mystery, for the action of the divine. When we surrender our anxiety, something new happens. We find inner peace, that peace that doesn't depend on external circumstances. It's the kind of peace that frees the heart from the need to predict and control, because we feel that there is a purpose and protection in every step. And so, little by little, by living with this confidence, we find an inner strength that sustains us. We don't have to fight the world or try to solve everything on our own. Instead, our faith allows us to see beyond the now and trust that we are exactly where we should be. This path of peace, of surrender, naturally leads us to reflect on another powerful truth, the one that manifests itself when we decide to free ourselves from the weight of hurts and learn to forgive. Now let me ask you, how many times have you carried a pain from the past in your chest, a hurt that seemed impossible to let go of? Forgiveness is one of the most transformative and liberating forces there is, and when I said to forgive 70 times 7, it was to show that forgiveness must be part of our life, our way of loving. Forgiveness is not only a way of relieving the soul of another, but above all of healing our own. Moving on without forgiving is like tying an anchor to your heart, preventing it from following its free path. Many people ask me how they can forgive, especially when the pain has been deep, when there has been betrayal, humiliation, or abandonment. It's natural for the heart to feel resistance. After all, it wants to protect itself. But when I was among you, I wanted to show, with every gesture, that forgiveness sets us free, that it heals us from the inside out. By forgiving, we loosen the invisible ties that bind us to the past and allow peace to flourish in our present. It doesn't mean that the pain is forgotten overnight, but it does mean that we are no longer held hostage by it. And if you think about it, forgiveness is more a gift we give ourselves than to the other person. It's an act of self-love, because it gives us the chance to live without the marks of old wounds. Often, forgiveness doesn't mean resuming a relationship or accepting what has been done, but just letting go of the pain. When you forgive, You take the weight off what has been left behind and discover that you have more strength than you thought. Little by little, the hurt dissolves, and in its place, a deep peace springs up. Forgiveness is an act that breaks down barriers and renews our soul. And it can be a process, which happens slowly, but transforms us with each step. Remember, forgiveness is an act of courage. It is the courage to let go of what has gone before and open the door to something new. When we forgive, we regain our freedom and connect with a lighter life, because we let go of the burdens we were carrying. And as we progress along this path of inner liberation, something very powerful begins to emerge. A deep desire to help and to share this peace with others. This desire leads us to discover the joy there is in giving, in serving, in being generous. Now imagine for a moment what would happen if everyone around you, including you, lived with a heart open to giving. When I said that there is more joy in giving than in receiving, I was revealing a secret that transforms lives. Generosity is a path that leads directly to the heart of our neighbor and to our own heart. Giving isn't about quantity, it's about intention, about the sincere desire to offer something of value, be it a smile, a word of support, a gesture of kindness. True generosity springs from an abundance that already exists within us. When we share what we have, we realize that our hearts are filled even more, and our lives take on new meaning. Because by giving, we're not just helping others, we're strengthening our own soul. Something magical happens when we reach out. We feel part of something bigger, connected to the flow of love that surrounds us. In fact, we are both givers and receivers of this love, and this exchange transforms us. But to experience this joy, we need to learn to let go. Sometimes we are taught to accumulate, to save, to fear lack. But the truth is that when we give without reserve, the fear of scarcity dissolves, and we realize that there is always enough. With every act of generosity, we remember that the true value lies not in how much we have, but in how much we can share. This act of giving makes us feel complete, at peace, and opens unexpected doors to receive what we really need. Being generous doesn't just mean giving material goods, it means sharing love, support, time, and understanding. Generosity can be as simple as paying attention to someone who needs to be heard or offering a friendly shoulder to someone who feels lonely. It means living with an open heart, willing to be a light in the lives of others. And when we do this, something special happens. We are blessed with a joy that only those who give know. This joy comes from knowing that by contributing to the good, we are being instruments of something greater and grander than ourselves. This joy of giving without expecting anything in return awakens a deep sense of humility, because it makes us realize that we are all equal and interdependent. It is in generosity that we see the beauty of humility, and this look leads us to the next essential step, the transformation that comes from living with a humble heart. Humility is often seen as a kind of weakness or submission, but it is actually one of the greatest strengths we can develop. When I spoke to my disciples about being humble like a child, I was inviting them to find the purity and simplicity that allow us to see life clearly. Humility isn't about diminishing ourselves. It's about being open to learning and recognizing that we are all equally valuable in God's eyes. Humility frees us from the need to appear and compete. It allows us to be authentic and live with a light heart. To be humble is to accept that we don't have all the answers, and that everything we have is a gift of which we are only custodians. When we are humble, we see the people around us with a look of respect and understanding, without judgment or comparison. Humility teaches us to welcome the experiences of others, to learn from others, and to understand that everyone is on a unique journey. And by living with this humble heart, we begin to build true bonds, relationships that don't depend on status, but on compassion and sincerity. Have you ever noticed how difficult it is to have peace when you're always trying to prove something to the world? Humility allows us to let go of this need and frees us from the pressure to be seen in a certain way. Being humble means being true to yourself, living according to what really matters and not letting yourself be trapped by appearances. By embracing this humility, you find immense power, because nothing external can shake you. Instead, you are strengthened by what is eternal and unchanging. True humility also opens the door to growth. When we recognize our own limitations, we are ready to learn, to look for the best in ourselves, and to accept that there is always more to grow and evolve. Humility prepares us to accept life's challenges without fear and with courage, because we know that every experience brings a lesson. And by opening ourselves up to these teachings, our hearts expand and we become more understanding and loving towards everyone around us. This transformation that humility brings us closer to a force that we all need: living faith, the faith that teaches us to walk hand in hand with the present. And it is in this state of surrender and trust that we are called to live each day with purpose and courage. And then we come to one of the greatest gifts we can give ourselves: faith in the now, the deep trust that each moment holds everything we need. Have you ever stopped to think about how often our minds get lost in worries about what hasn't even happened yet? This anxiety about anticipating the future and the fear of losing control over what is to come ends up taking us away from the peace and strength that only exist in the present. When I told you to trust in the Father and not worry about tomorrow, it was so that you could truly live, with your heart present and awake to every moment. Faith in the present doesn't mean that we stop dreaming or planning, but it does teach us to let go of the need to foresee every detail and embrace the mystery of life. When we trust in the now, we are saying, I know that every step will take me where I need to be. We live with a serene surrender because we understand that, whatever happens, we have God's strength and presence by our side. And this trust is powerful. It gives us the courage to move forward, even when our vision of the path is limited. A great secret is that by living with faith in the present, you begin to see the beauty that you didn't see before, the blessings that everyday life brings. Life becomes lighter, and gratitude begins to grow within you. Little by little, you understand that every moment has its value, every experience has its raison d'être, and that living fully in the now is the only way to really prepare for what's to come. As a result, anxiety diminishes, and peace begins to reign in your heart. This living faith transforms even the challenges. By living in the present, you stop seeing them as insurmountable obstacles and start seeing them as opportunities for growth. Every difficulty becomes a chance to strengthen your confidence and discover new possibilities. And with your heart anchored in the now, even the greatest trials become lighter. Because when we are present, we understand that what really matters is how we react here and now, and that with faith, we can face any situation. Living with this faith in the present is the final step towards a transformed life, full of peace and purpose. By embracing this trust, you find your way to true freedom. May your journey be illuminated by this faith, and may you, each day, discover the fullness of living in the now. May your heart remain at peace, and may you feel the loving presence guiding you at every step. May you find within yourself the power to live with love, confidence, and purpose. Throughout this journey, we explore 5 keys to wisdom that can profoundly transform your life. Each of them, trust, forgiveness, generosity, humility, and faith in the now, are invitations to live with more peace, more purpose, and a real connection with what is most divine within you. It's a path of courage, but it's also the path to true freedom. If these words have touched your heart, let this message carry on. Share it with those who need a little more light and hope. And if you want to continue on this journey alongside me, leave a comment, like the video, and subscribe so you don't miss the next step on this journey. Thank you for being here, and may peace walk with you. May your life be filled with love and purpose, and may your light inspire everyone around you.